Hello Commanders, welcome to the command table. My name is Matt and I've got several different ways to take down Volcanus for today. Before we get into that, let's please, if you would, have you like, subscribe, and if you want notifications when I drop new videos, be sure to hit that notification bell. Also, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those below. If you want to see the most current setup, I usually do these videos at the start of the raid, but over the next 2 days we sometimes have updates. So please feel free to join the command table Discord. The link will be in the description. Everyone is welcome. It's open source, and you're welcome to contribute there as well. We sure like it when people put in interesting new builds. So let's go ahead and hop in. We'll show you a contribution from Breather. This is his build for today. He's doing an interesting trick where he kind of pins the Frost Wizard and his archers and the Barrier Monk behind the towers and just keeps them locked there. And you'll see how that functions here in a minute, because it keeps everything from rushing forward, obviously, especially since he's using the Troll Giant's Toe. He's not using Banner, so he doesn't have that extra range to reach out there, so sometimes things would run forward, but with this setup, everything stays blocked behind those towers. You see the Frost Wizard running in place. That forces Volcanus, once everything else is cleared, to walk up into the range of those crystal spires, which gives him that DPS. So, solid build. I think it's pretty good. You can't complain. It gets the job done. Very well done. I'll show you the difference between the Troll Giant's Toe and the Banner with the first two videos from me in just a second here, but let's just get him to where he takes the heart. And boom. Okay, so you see it works just fine. Very solid build, so thank you Breather for that. Let's go ahead and pop over to my different things today. So this is my primary profile. The difference with mine is I coordinate the towers. This is going to run through the Power Stone, so hopefully I don't block anything you need to see. But I put the towers kind of to the top and the bottom, one in front of the other, and that way you don't get units stuck on them. That enables everything to move forward, because I don't feel the need to force Volcanus to come to me. That's just my preference. There's nothing wrong with the way that Breather does it, and I think Saeed's doing it the same way too. But yeah, I'm using Toe on this one, and I've got Merge on a lot of those units. So this is only valid for an era where Merge is available. But here is the Banner, or it's not the Banner, sorry, it's the Standard of the Ancient Defender. Standard, sorry. So you can see how everything runs up now, and everything is still within reach of those towers, so you don't have to worry too much, especially since we're using the Standard. But now, oh, one little catch there on that guy, but he's going to be fine. The nice thing about having the freezing attacks is that Volcanus doesn't burn anything anymore, so when they do get hit, they don't die. They can take that hit because the meteor itself doesn't do hardly any damage at all. So they just sit there frozen for a couple seconds and then they pop out. But this is with the Standard, so you can see that working. But let's show you how it works with Toe. See, I even labeled it wrong there. It said Banner. Okay, so this is how it works with Toe, and I'm not as big of a fan of using the Toe. I know it gets you a lot more damage. It's 85% more damage. However, it can't reach nearly as far. So once it kills everything that's within range, you've still got stuff that's way up there, like those archers that are hitting the... See, I've almost lost my Barrier Monk now. Fortunately, we're able to get everything down in time. So I think with Banner, or not Banner, sorry, I keep doing that. I think with Standard, I'm just a little more comfortable. It just feels better, and this gets a little dicey here. But I think I still pull it out in the end. So stuff does get frozen, but we're able to clean up the minions with the Crystal Spires popping out. It just gets a little ugly, and I think that's the reason that Breather and Saeed pin their units behind the towers, so that they don't get up into the big middle of all that mess. So if you're going to use Toe, then you definitely want to block your units behind the towers. If you're not going to use the Toe, then and you're going to use the Standard, then you can have your units run up, and it just gets them to where they're attacking Volcanus sooner. but you may also end up having him out of the range of your Crystal Spire. So as long as you've got the damage to get him down, then you can let your units go forward. So that's the observations from that. Okay, here is my other SR-15 profile. This one has Leech, I think, on most of the units. I don't know what I'm pointing out there. Oh, I was just showing you the unit levels, because it just pops up really quickly once you start the battle, so I figured I'd show you for a second before I go. So this is where the units have Leech instead of crit or damage or aim. They are able to heal themselves up, so I've got full health units. But now that we get to the point where we're damaging Volcanus, it's a slow grind. And we're going to go ahead and skip through a lot of this. But you'll notice we're getting really close to the end. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I barely get him. So my thought was, Leech is great and all. It keeps your units topped off in the event that you catch a random meteor on one of your peripheral units. But if you switch to damage and crit and you make sure that everything's tightly packed in that barrier monk bubble, you should be fine. So I've switched out, there's one that does have Leech on it, but I switched out some of the power stones for crit and for damage. So on at least 3 or 4 units there, I've upgraded the power stones to damage units instead of Leech. And now watch this. Not only do all of the minions die incredibly fast, you also get to the boss and his health is going to start going down much, much faster. So it was down to the last second on that last build. Let's go ahead and skip ahead here. Okay, and you'll notice now I've got about 14 seconds left. So just switching out those 3 power stones, if you're able to kill everything before it gets to your units, you don't have to worry. So that's why I think I'm going to go with those power stones going forward. Let's see, that one's pretty straightforward. We don't really care about that. Oh, here's a good point. I wasn't using the Stormcaller on this profile last time around because it was so low level, but now that they've integrated the boost, you'll see that it was 86. So that's a big jump from level 50. So, in fact, I think I had it to like level 49 or something ridiculous like that. So I didn't even get that second Power Stone slot. Since then, I have gotten a drop for it, so it is over 50. It does have the second Power Stone, but also that boost is tremendous. That Stormcaller is just so good at keeping everything away because it targets the closest units first. So just like the Crystal Spires, it will target those closest units and clear them up. But the Stormcaller is just really good at shredding through those nearby units and chaining all the way to the back to get rid of the ranged ones. Let's see, is there anything noteworthy for that? Oh, this was just lower unit levels on this profile, but it's the exact same thing. And again, you see that boost up to 72 on that Stormcaller. But this is still SR-13. So level 2 artifacts and level 70-ish on most of the units. So still able to do SR-13 very well. We'll go ahead and skip through so you see the heart. And then this is going to be a different build that I have done in the past. I threw in the health elixir because I thought that my monster hunter would need it, but with the boost, he's actually up to 42, so we don't have to worry too much about him. But I think most of the units here are 75 or under. I think just the archers are 76, but everything else is under that. So for SR10, it's pretty stable. I will go ahead and skip through here because it's pretty straightforward. The roots are still pretty crucial because they keep the units off of your Crystal Spire and other things like that. So that's not using the accuracy elixir. That was just using the health. And I just wanted to see if I could do it with different elixirs instead of having to depend on accuracy all the time because I'm always out of those and I have to spend gems. So if you're looking for an alternate gem, see that looked ugly, but I'm going to be fine. Again, there's not really burning attacks in this. So yeah, stuff does get frozen. See, this is where the health does come in handy when your Valkyrie gets frozen and your Monster Hunter almost dies. But it typically don't need it. And this one I am able to cap it off and get the rest of the way. I like having not just normal archers, but having the chaos archers because they do clean up the rest of the enemy archers. I mean, yeah, if you just had normal archers, they'd all focus on the boss, and the monster hunter would soak all of the damage from the archers, the enemy archers. The problem occurs when you get a weird pathing thing and the monster hunter goes way back here. You'll end up with some archers down here that'll shoot and take out your bubble, and then they'll get hit by a meteor, and it can ruin your attempt. So now we added the accuracy elixir, and that changes everything. At this point, I probably don't need the health elixir if I'm going to use accuracy, and you'll see why here in just a second. So, I mean, if you're going to spend on elixirs, you might as well spend it on the accuracy. If you have a bunch of health elixirs and you got a ton of keys sitting around, then you could do 2 to 1. It's just alternative for you. Now you see how the monster hunter's kind of pathing towards the top. Sometimes you'll end up with archers way down here where their closest unit to hit is over here. Since I'm using banner and I may have ranged on reach on some of these, the power stone, they weren't very close to those archers. But in a season or era where you don't have reach, then those archers are going to be a lot closer, which means that these archers that path down here could take out your bubble and ruin your attempt. So this is the setup that I was just doing, but on a lower oh no, never mind. This is the normal setup that I've been doing on my previous profiles. And if you're going to use accuracy elixir, you might as well use this. It's just a lot faster, a lot quicker, and I just feel a lot more stable. And we'll skip ahead since it's something you've already seen. So this, however, is the SR7, and kind of that same monster hunter setup that was from back in the day, back from my bloodbound days. And what I've done here, this is cycling through the power stone, so you can see what I've got on everybody. I put these archers, chaos archers, here because they didn't really fit under the bubble initially. So by putting them back here and forcing them to run forward, if Volcanus does shoot a meteor at them, it lands way back here and they're able to get under the bubble in time. But if they're right here and they're outside of the bubble, Volcanus could shoot them at the very beginning of the battle, and it'll tag all of your units, bumping them forward and causing them to get hit. So that's why I've moved those back. So you see where the bubble extends to. There's just not enough room to get them all underneath until right after the battle starts. So might as well do that. It just takes them a second or two to run forward, and if they do catch that meteor, then it's in the way back instead of right on the edge of your bubble. Again, those chaos archers, they clean up all the other archers, which isn't totally crucial, but it can cause you to lose an attempt. And this is a no elixir build for SR7. I don't have a single unit over level 50. So very possible for new folks to reach this point. It's not hard to get units to level 50. And obviously not very high on my artifact levels either. 0, 1, and 0. So no elixirs, pretty stable build for those of you who are new, just working your way up. So thank you for watching. Again, check out the command table Discord for updates, and thank you to Saeed, Breather, Proto, and Ugozanchi. He's a new addition to contributing on the TCT server, so welcome and thank you for contributing. Appreciate everybody who does share their builds and helps us to either save keys or elixirs. And again, the biggest thing you can do right now is to subscribe. That's the best thing we can do to help build the channel. Not going to be bashful about it. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we can get monetized. At that point, we can start doing a website, wiki, all kinds of other stuff. So we'll funnel it all right back into the game, whatever we earn. So thank you for sharing, and we will have more content for you in the near future. Bye for now.